Hello Philippines, mabuhay. So I'm back after only a few hours of sleep. So we're going to have a little recap of what we have discussed a few hours ago about hypertension, the causes and the types of hypertension. There are two types of hypertension, the primary or the essential hypertension, and the other one is the secondary hypertension. The primary or the essential hypertension, this form or type of hypertension tends to develop over time. Mostly in adults, the root cause of this form of hypertension is unidentifiable or unknown or idiopathic in nature. However, that particular adult or person is suffering from hypertension. The secondary hypertension is a form of hypertension wherein the cause of increased blood pressure is due to underlying health conditions. This form of hypertension occurs suddenly and it's acute in nature, and the elevation of the blood pressure is higher than the person with primary or essential hypertension. Examples of health conditions that could lead to a secondary hypertension: if you are suffering a sleep apnea or obstructive sleep apnea, if you are suffering from a chronic kidney disease or kidney illness or kidney disease, if there's a tumor in your adrenal glands, if you have thyroid problems that could lead to hormonal imbalances, congenital defects or inborn defects. It could be due to certain medications, particularly birth pills taken by ladies or women, cold medications, decongestants, and certain medications prescribed by your physician, and certain pain relievers. So those are just samples of illnesses that could result to a secondary hypertension. Now we're going to go to the risk factors of hypertension. What are the various factors that could lead you to have a hypertension? Number one, age, race, family history of hypertension, being overweight or obese, not being physically active or engaged in sedentary lifestyle, using tobacco or tobacco smoking, too much sodium in your diet, too little potassium in your diet, too much alcohol intake, stress, and certain chronic conditions. Example, if you have a chronic kidney disease, if you have metabolic syndrome or diabetes mellitus, sleep apnea. So those are just examples of chronic conditions. So what are the complications of hypertension? If you are having signs and symptoms of hypertension and you didn't go to your doctor or medical practitioner or cardiologist to attend your condition, you'll be suffering from complications, and sometimes this could be fatal or dangerous. You could have a stroke, or you'll be suffering from cardiovascular accident. You could have aneurysms because, remember, chronic increased pressure in your artery can damage your arterial wall. And this could weaken your blood vessels. And then if there's a sudden increase in the pressure in the blood pressing against the artery, that could weaken it and rupture the vessel, and that is life-threatening. You could have a congestive heart failure. You could have a weakened and narrow blood vessels in your kidneys, resulting to kidney dysfunction. You could have a metabolic syndrome, wherein there is a imbalances in your sugar levels or insulin levels, and then there's like an increase in your visceral fats. And then there's also an increase in the amount of low density lipid in your blood or in your cholesterol. You could have trouble with memory that could impair your brain function, that could lead you to inability to learn, to think, and remember. You could also have dementia due to a narrowed blood vessel or arteries in the brain affecting the cognitive abilities of your brain. That is called vascular dementia. And following stroke, if you have a stroke and then there's an interruption in the blood flow in your brain cells, you could have vascular dementia. So there's the studies or research has proven that if you are diagnosed or if you suffered from stroke, later on you could have vascular dementia because there's an interruption in the blood flow in your brain cells, so affecting its function. So we will recap on that later on, especially our risk factors. Thank you.